The Resident Evil series has no shortage of characters that have been left waiting in the wings, and none perhaps more so to me than Billy Coen. Billy is one of the most interesting characters with the most amount of built-in potential that I can think of off the top of my head, and yet he's been left dormant for over 2 decades. It's not so much that his personality is anything extra or that he's integral to the storyline, but where he could be is nearly limitless, and the cliffhanger of that fascinates me. So to start with a general overview of Billy, he's a former Marine whose platoon murdered 23 civilian villagers, and then pinned the blame on Billy because he refused to participate. This event culminating in a conviction for a death sentence. But on the way to have it carried out, his military police escort was attacked by a roving band of BOWs that allowed Billy to escape. He wound up meeting Rebecca Chambers, and the two of them became close as they fought their way through Umbrella's abandoned training facility. They eventually beat up all the baddies, and Rebecca told Billy that she would file a report that he had died in the chaos, taking his dog tags as proof.
Officially, Lieutenant Billy Coen is dead.
Yeah, I'm just a zombie now.
This turn of events basically leaves Billy free in the world to do whatever he wants, provided he changes his identity. This is the last time we see Billy in any capacity, so the question obviously turns to what he did after his and Rebecca's separation. The open-endedness of his arc leaves so many possibilities, but we'll start with what I think are the most implausible. Firstly, it seems unlikely that he had any kind of reunion with Rebecca. In one of Capcom's most recent CGI movies, Resident Evil Vendetta, we actually see the long-awaited return of Rebecca Chambers, who's distanced herself from field action in favor of lab work. Rebecca is heavily involved in the movie, but there is absolutely no mention of Billy, leading to the conclusion that the relationship really did end after Zero. This suggesting that if they ever did meet back up, it would be a reconnection more so than a familiarity. The next loose end would be the 3 soldiers that framed Billy in connection to the murders that put him on death row. We never learn any details about these men, but it seems plausible that they're still in the service, a fact that probably wouldn't sit very well with the man that they framed. It's possible that Billy took his newfound freedom and pursued some kind of vengeance on these individuals. Personally though, I find this unlikely. To pursue these men would put him in the line of fire that they may recognize him. It would be too close to potentially being recaptured, so this thread seems like it'll never be tied. For me, I think the most likely way that Billy could return would just be a random appearance. I envision him having moved to some foreign location and living as unassuming a life as possible, similar to Chris's escape in Resident Evil 6. I could envision a story where he now has a wife and children in a remote location that somehow becomes infected with a new bioweapon and he has to fight to save them. Wild speculation, but with how ambiguous Capcom left him, this is where my mind goes. As for if I think we'll actually ever see the continuing story of Billy, no I don't. Resident Evil Zero has a somewhat weird place in the fandom. Some people really like it, but most seem content to just forget it. In fact, if Rebecca wasn't in RE1, then I don't think we'd have ever seen her return in any capacity. Billy, on the other hand, slides right out of the series perfectly. He has no connections to anyone other than Rebecca, and he's supposedly dead. So if he's not introduced in conjunction with her, then it seems unlikely that he'll ever be reintroduced at all. It's unfortunate because I think it would be captivating to see this broken man attempting to pick up the pieces of his life and move on, but I don't think Resident Evil is the franchise for that sort of thing. So should Billy Coen return to the Resident Evil series? I wish he would, but will he? Probably not. There's a lot of potential for him in my opinion, but I don't see Capcom ever exploring it. Mainly because I don't think he's an overly popular character, and his 20+ year absence says a lot about how much priority they've given him.